What is up, everybody? Jay Nell here with my UFC 225 prediction video. I'm so sorry. I know that the pre-prelims actually just started. I'm super late. If you follow me on social media, you know that I'm out of town. I've had some issues going on. I apologize. I still got it out before the actual event, so let's go ahead and get into it. First up on the prelims, I am choosing Claudia Gadelha to beat Carla Esparza. I am choosing Alistair Overeem to beat Curtis Blaydes, although I'm kind of rooting against my own pick there. I'm really looking to see how Curtis Blaydes does in this fight, if he's been able to absorb all of the knowledge that he's had. He's only about 26 years old. I do think he might be one of the future young, slimmer heavyweights coming up there. Again, how does he do against Alistair, and if he can beat him, I'm looking to see. So I'm picking the safe route, though. I'm sticking with Alistair. Now, on to the main card. And yes, I'm choosing CM Punk to beat Mike Jackson. I love this fight. It's in Chicago. They're going to go crazy. They're opening with this. And I do believe that there's room for spectacle. You know, this is MMA. This is a sport. It's sports entertainment. You have to entertain. There's room for a spectacle fight like this if you put it on a card that's stacked with all of these legitimate fights, which this one is. This is a great card, even with CM Punk versus Mike Jackson. Also, it's more evenly matched. He's not fighting an actual fighter like Mickey Gall. He's fighting a guy who's coming off a desk, who has one pro fight just like him, one pro loss. So this is more of an even fight. I am excited for this. I hope he wins. And there's something to said, but he's the closest thing we've seen to a regular person getting into an octagon. He got beat up, whooped up in less than the first round, and got back in there, still training. There's something to be said about that. So picking CM Punk. Now, I'm choosing Tai Tuivasa to beat Andrei Arlovski. Choosing Holly Holm to beat Megan Anderson. My thing with Anderson, look, I was kind of tired of all the drama surrounding her. She got something to show me. I'm picking the safe bet until you show me. Picking Holly Holm. Now, co-main event, and we're seeing the former UFC champion Rafael dos Anjos take on Colby Covington, very controversial Colby Covington, for the interim welterweight belt, which I actually disagree with altogether because Tyron hasn't been out that long, and from accounts he's not going to be out that long. You let people hold on to belts for a year plus before you've done interim. Anyway, they're doing this because, quite frankly, Colby Covington. Say what you want about his antics, scripted or not scripted. I'm about to say scripted or not scripted, but we know that it's scripted. However you think about it, it worked. Now, let's talk about him. He has a wrestling base. He's a two-time NCAA Pac-10 wrestling champion, so he does have that good fundamental strength, that training regimen. He has good cardio. He has not seemed, I do believe he'll be able to do a 5-round fight. He's developed his punching power, his stand-up game. He has one-punch knockout power. But really, he just utilizes aggression. He is first. If he smells blood in the water, it's a wrap. Momentum, once he gets it, he's like a downhill snowball. So he swarms you. You have to be first against Colby Covington, or else it's going to be a hard day out for you. He's got about a 2-inch reach advantage, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure that's going to come into play. He's not a Max Holloway. He's not necessarily someone who fights long. In fact, he does better in closer quarters, in the pocket, with the dirty boxing up against the cage, swarming his opponents. So again, I'm not sure his 2-inch reach advantage is going to do much. Again, he needs to be first, swarm him, try to have a higher offensive output when we're talking about Rafael dos Anjos. And let's talk about Rafael, a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion. He has actually an underrated wrestling game, underrated. Not sure he's going to be stronger in the wrestling camp or in the grappling camp as a Colby Covington. Again, that fundamental training develops that fundamental strength that you just don't see in other art forms. But having his black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, being Jiu-Jitsu champ, being, I think, a little bit smarter on the ground than Colby, a bit slicker. We've seen Rafael bait his opponents into bad movement. So I think with having the right positioning, the right leverage, these things can counteract just pure strength. So on the ground, I would say you want to say Colby has the advantage on the ground, but I'm not sure. They might be more even on the ground. Colby might have the advantage in like the punching pocket or in the dirty boxing, pushing Rafael up against the cage. I'm not sure he'll have the full-on advantage on the ground, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Rafael on the standing game, in distance, I actually think even though Colby has the 2-inch reach advantage because he doesn't fight long, I think that will actually go to Rafael. I think he'll have the advantage in distance. I think he has more tools on the feet, more diversity in his striking. I also think he'll be faster, quicker footwork and quicker hand speed. So I do believe that. I think Rafael should keep it standing and in space, see how that goes. If not, try the dirty boxing, try taking him down. I'm not sure how it's going to happen on the ground. There's a lot of little intangibles there. One of the things I'm concerned with Rafael is that he might come into this fight angry. We saw in the weigh-ins, the way he walked up to the scale and then walked over to Colby. He was angry. And, you know, that's part of mental warfare, to get your opponent angry, to get them to fight out of character, to get them to be hesitant or overly aggressive and blow their cardio load, although I do think Rafael may have better cardio, so maybe the longer this goes, the more in his favor. He also has a higher offensive output, so if he can be first and swarm him with that high offensive output in range, just tap, 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 move, tap, 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 move, the longer this goes, I do believe it'll be in favor of Rafael. And don't come in angry. You can't come in angry. You don't fight angry. You didn't win your lightweight belt angry. You can't come in angry. I am choosing Rafael dos Anjos. Yeah. I can't get with the scripted antics of Colby Covington. At least with Conor McGregor, he's more of an entertainer, more of a showman. Whether you like what he says or not, you could see how it's funny. You could see how people like it. With Colby, it's just mean. The things he says are just mean and rude. And then when you get confronted, you call the police. Picking Rafael. I also think physically and on paper that he might have the advantage too. It's not just my personal feelings, but picking Rafael. Now, main event, and we're seeing the UFC middleweight champion Robert Whittaker take on Yoel Romero for the second time, but not for the belt. As we know, Yoel missed weight by 0.2 pounds, and as we know, there's some controversy because the commission made him stop cutting weight when he had an hour left. Not the doctor. Doctor said he was good. Doctor was there with him and said he was good. The commission, Illinois commission, came in and made him stop. Why? We gotta look more into that. But it's not like he missed weight by 2 pounds. He missed weight by 0.2 pounds. We don't know if that hour would have made a difference. So I hate when things like that happen. And so now this fight is not for the belt. And this is the second time that he's missed weight on a title shot. He's 40 years old. It's very, very unfortunate. Don't know if he's going to get another shot. Let's get into it. Yoel Romero from Cuba was on the Cuba Olympic wrestling team. That's his base. He's very strong, very physically strong, can muscle his opponents on the ground in the dirty boxing, close quarters. He's developed a stand-up game, not only a one-punch knockout power and some striking, but some kicks and some knees as well. Utilizes aggression. It's very hard to get out of the first round with him. He used to have really bad cardio issues. He would blow his load in the beginning of the fight and then gas and get beat, quite frankly. He's got a hold of that. The last few fights, including this last 5-rounder against Yoel Romero, against Whittaker, he seems to have gotten a handle on that, although I think Whittaker's power is, his cardio is better. Yoel Romero is going to have to manage that cardio, but still be aggressive, still be first, still try it. Because if he can get the win over Robert, then he can get another title shot. You know what I mean? Even though this isn't for the title. So he needs to be first. He needs to get Robert's respect first. He's going to have to be able to spit smarter because Yoel is a very slick, smart, cerebral, strategic striker. Robert. Let's talk about Robert. Robert is a black belt in karate, black belt in Hapkido, I believe a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's very strong. I don't think he won't be stronger in the wrestling game. I do believe with the grappling, I think Yoel might be able to muscle him a bit, especially in the beginning. But we know that Robert has great takedown defense, and we know that against Yoel. Robert Whittaker needs to be first. He has such slick striking. He's slicker than he looks, faster than he looks, stronger than he looks, the whole 9. 27 years old. If you can tell, I'm excited. I like Robert Whittaker. I think he's the future of the division. I think he's the future of the sport. Like I said, quick hand speed, good, very smooth, gliding footwork, so he's faster than he looks. He has angles, moves his head, so you slide and you miss him. He has great combinations, head, body, shoulder, knees, toes, thighs. He beats up your entire body when he sees the opportunity. He takes it, always looking for the finish. I really like Robert Whittaker. I'll say it again. I think he's the future of the division and the future of the sport, and getting better and better every time we see him. Rematches are not easy. They're very tricky. And not only that, Robert's coming off of a long layover, off of having some issues, I believe staph infection and possibly an injury as well. Someone correct me if I'm wrong on that. That's my biggest concern. Ring rust is a real thing. How will he be coming back here? Coming back against the same person he's beat before? Will he be overconfident? Will his body... There's all these question marks out there, but I am sticking with the champ, Robert Whittaker. So let me know your picks, any injury updates, and I'll probably talk to you after the event in a few hours. I won't be watching it real time though, because I am in Utah, so I'll probably be off social media. I will watch it as soon as I get home at 7 o'clock in the morning in Cali, so the recap will come out at the same time. So follow me on Snapchat, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, where I will have 15-second predictions. And I'm on Snapchat now. Subscribe, like, talk to me, take care. Goodbye.